Greetings, Dragon Ball fans, and welcome to the second part of my What If series. What if Vegeta killed Gohan? In the last part, we saw Gohan's influence on Piccolo help the big green guy grow well beyond his previous limits. With more time on King Kai's world, Piccolo, along with Gohan, Tien, Jiaozu, and Yamcha, have all picked up the Kaioken technique to varying degrees. Combined with his fusion with the dying Super Nail, Piccolo managed to take the battle with Frieza to the next level. Several next levels, in fact. We left off with an exasperated Frieza having attained his final form, and there's no Goku in sight. Will Piccolo survive his fight with the Galactic Tyrant? Well, let's find out. As Piccolo finds his stamina rapidly fading against a freshly empowered Frieza, he notices a ship streaking across the sky. Goku has arrived on Namek. Stepping out of the ship, he takes a moment to soak up the glorious scenery, then to try and sense some... Whoa, is that Piccolo? And Chi-Chi? What's she doing here? Wow, she's so strong now. What's that other one? Ooh, that must be Frieza. Wait, where's Krillin? Oh, there he is. Piccolo, along with help from the freshly healed Krillin and Chi-Chi, battle a low-power final form Frieza. Their martial arts, techniques, ability to sense energy, and most importantly, teamwork, are the only thing keeping them alive as they trade off, trying desperately to keep Frieza off guard as they sense Goku approaching. Seeing him as the main threat, however, Frieza focuses entirely on Piccolo, and eventually he manages to knock him down, just as Goku arrives on the scene. Chi-Chi is much happier to see him than she thought she'd be, and together with Krillin, they proceed to attack Frieza. Well, they try. Frieza's pretty much toying with them at this point. He eventually catches Krillin and breaks his arm, laughing at every scream the little man makes. Frieza drops him when he gets punched in the back by Goku. Goku tells the thoroughly outclassed Chi-Chi to go and help Krillin, while he pushes Kaioken even higher to battle 1% Frieza. Dende again creeps in to find and heal Krillin. When Krillin finally wakes up, Dende asks him if they saw where Nail landed. Chi-Chi leads them off to Piccolo's current dirt pile. As a mountain gets hit by a tumbling Goku, Frieza gets hit by a freshly healed Krillin and Piccolo. Pushing his Kaioken to ×3, Piccolo is able to gain an edge over Frieza, while Dende and Chi-Chi head over to heal Goku. Unfortunately, Frieza spots Dende holding his hands over the man, and, doing the math, he death beams the little Namekian, missing Goku, but striking Chi-Chi in the leg as well. The injured Chi-Chi helps Goku pull himself out of the rubble. He passes her a senzu, but she smiles grimly and goes to put it in his mouth instead. Goku takes the bean and flies up, stopping next to Piccolo. He throws the bean to Piccolo, saying that it's the last one. As Piccolo tucks it in his gi, Goku asks them if they can keep Frieza busy for a few minutes, as he raises his arms into the air. Piccolo and Krillin again tag-team Frieza, while Goku charges up a Spirit Bomb. They are consistently losing ground, but dealing damage is not their main goal here. Eventually, sensing that the time is right, Chi-Chi limps up into the air behind Frieza and says hi. The three of them raise their hands to their faces. It doesn't matter which way Frieza's looking this time. This allows Goku to hit Frieza squarely with the Spirit Bomb. They invariably fail to notice, however, that Frieza is not dead. That is, until he shoots Piccolo in the chest. Laughing, a now bulked up Frieza grabs Chi-Chi with his tail for the second time. A worn-out Goku watches helplessly as this monster laughs delightedly. Krillin struggles to free himself from the monster's telekinetic grasp, while Chi-Chi gasps and chokes, her throat slowly being crushed by Frieza's tail. Chi-Chi's gasping stops abruptly, with a slight pop. Her limp body is dropped to the ground, as Goku hears his best friend call out his name. Turning to look at Krillin, he feels the surge of energy, as an explosion echoes across the landscape. Well, I think it's fair to say that we can insert that iconic Super Saiyan transformation right about here. This time, however, Goku does not stare down Frieza. Instead, he charges in, kneeing Frieza in the gut, then slamming him down with his hands again, sending Frieza back into his waiting knee. Goku doesn't know where this power came from, and he doesn't care. He just beats relentlessly on Frieza. After a few solid hits, Frieza finally looks up. Bloodied but determined, they fly at each other. The golden-haired warrior battles the tyrant in the sky. The shockwaves shatter the ground and churn up the water. It's worth noting that originally Goku had a solid boost from the whole Captain Ginyu thing, but here that hasn't happened yet. Sure, he was a bit stronger on arrival, and Krillin and Chi-Chi's deaths have surely helped a little bit. Unfortunately, Frieza is nobody's punching bag. Well, except maybe Piccolo's. and he is already at 50% power, having taken the post-Spirit Bomb bath time to power up. As Goku and Frieza go at it, Piccolo drags himself ashore and rolls onto his back. Watching Goku struggle against a 50% Frieza, he reaches into his gi for that last precious senzu. Once fully deployed, Piccolo starts sending out energy balls in every direction, scattering them wide and high. Goku suddenly pulls back as Frieza notices thousands of energy balls flying at him from all around. Taking the moment to collect themselves, Piccolo pushes through to ×4 Kaioken before he and Goku dive back in. Over on Earth, Kami and Mr. Popo have finally managed to collect all those mysteriously reactivated Dragon Balls. Remember, it's not been a year yet somehow. They summon Shenron, and Kami wishes back anyone who died on Namek because of Frieza or his men. Dende wakes up and looks up at the golden-haired warrior and a bright red-aurored Nail, or Piccolo, or whatever. He also notices Chi-Chi sitting up, looking around at the sky, confused. She then leaps up and flies off, grabbing Dende as she passes. They head towards the patiently waiting Porunga. While a bit distracted at the moment, Frieza soon notices the sky as well, and then he spots the dragon. Arriving with Goku and Piccolo close behind, Frieza watches in horror as Dende finishes wishing for every non-Frieza-related person on Namek, except Goku and Piccolo, to be moved to Earth. As the balls lift up and zoom off through space, Frieza screams, going 100%. In his rage, he deathballs the planet. With the planet rumbling below them, Piccolo tells Goku to distract Frieza while he touches his forehead, with both hands. Around here, the Ginyu Force land near Frieza's main ship. When they arrive at the battle, they are shocked to see their Lord Frieza reveling in his full power, toying with a now purely defensive Goku. Then the impossible happens. Kaioken times 20! Piccolo shouts, erupting with blinding red energy as the Ginyu Force's scouters all shatter. Trembling with this untried and wholly unstable power, Piccolo struggles to get the words out. Ma-kan ko sa po! The massive beam of energy lances out, tearing up through Frieza's chest, neck, and head. As his body tears at himself, Piccolo collapses to the ground, convulsing. The bruised and battered Goku turns to face the shocked Ginyu Force. With a slight sigh, Goku rushes in and punches Recoome over the horizon. Through the haze of pain, Piccolo manages to open his eyes. He smiles, seeing before him the perfect opportunity to use that other Makan Kosapo he had charged. Jace, Berta, and Guldo drop dead as a thin beam of energy sliced through their chests. Before his scouter exploded, however, Captain Ginyu had glimpsed some of that tremendous power from Piccolo's somewhat overcharged attack. Shaking off the shock of watching his mighty lord's death, Ginyu realizes he knows what he needs to do. He punches himself in the chest and initiates a body change. Now in Piccolo's tingling body, Ginyu picks himself up. He can feel the immense power resonating through his limbs with every movement. He flexes and stretches a bit as he watches Goku rush up to fight his old body. After a moment, though, Goku stops and looks back at Ginyu's new body. Wait, you're Piccolo? Goku says, looking back at Ginyu's old body, obviously confused. Goku turns to face Ginyu as Ginyu readies himself, preparing to show off what a real warrior can do in this monstrous body. It's unlike anything he's ever experienced. This body is so powerful it hurts. Goku charges in, and through Ginyu. What? How? He sputters as his severed arm tumbles away into the water. Are you dense? Ginyu hears in his head. A different voice, also in his head, says, We're not exactly at our best right now, are we? What's going on? Ginyu demands, as the laughter echoes in his skull through the agony of... Oh no. Oh no. It's not power. It's just plain agony. The agony of this broken shell of a body. If an answer was given to his previous question, he didn't hear it though. He was far too busy getting slammed into the ground by Goku. Knowing now that he had made a terrible mistake, and seeing Goku's obvious power, Ginyu decides it's time to swap again. Ginyu's essence reaches out as the ground bucks and heaves under him. Missing Goku, it instead strikes a grimly smiling Piccolo in Ginyu's previous and mortally wounded body. Having had some respite from his whole body being on fire, Piccolo manages to sit up. He looks over at his missing arm, then back up at Ginyu, who is now facing Goku. Unable to move his other arm due to the pain, he focuses hard through that pain. A fresh, non-Kaioken racked arm erupts out and instantly grabs a hastily retreating crab. He throws the crab straight at Ginyu. Ginyu's fresh body falls, pincers flailing, and disappears into a crevice. Ginyu's original body also falls to the ground, twitching in distress. A visibly confused Goku lands next to Piccolo. You killed him with a crab? Goku asks, too tired not to believe it. Piccolo holds out his hand, saying it's time to go, now. Goku helps Piccolo up, and they head towards the Ginyu pods. He shoves the Namekian's shivering body into one of the pods, and then clambers into his own. They start pressing buttons and blast off. The battered raccoon crawls out of his temporary mountain home. Reaching to his head, he finds his scouter long gone. As he looks on, Namek erupts around him. Over on Earth, Kami's time spent on King Kai's world has helped him appreciate having some company. He's especially interested to meet these Namekians and learn about their past. While they mostly visit him at the lookout, he did manage to meet Guru before the Ancient One passed. 4 months after they arrive, the Namekian Dragon Balls are gathered. Knowing that Goku and Piccolo are safe and learning very interesting things out there in the depths of space, they start wishing the other people back. Much to Chi-Chi's distress, Gohan asks to remain until the next cycle, to try and train some more. She is happy to hear, however, that Krillin has made it to King Kai's world, so there is someone there to look after her boy. Having spent weeks training in that cramped little ship with him, followed by their time on Namek, however brief that was, Chi-Chi and Krillin are now fairly good friends. They use the first 3 wishes to bring back Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu. Another 4 months pass, and both Gohan and Krillin are resurrected. The Namekians then bid farewell to the Earthlings, along with the lost son of Katas, using their final wish to be moved to a suitable but distant world, in this galaxy, but, far from any threats. Having failed badly, almost irrevocably badly, in his first real fight, Gohan still maintains a bit of motivation to train. More so, he is just fascinated by the concept of ki manipulation shown to him in the Kaioken. He asks Bulma about the ship his dad used, and then to make him a small gravity room, to which she happily complies. Chi-Chi is of course overjoyed to finally have him back, but is not thrilled to see his interest in training. Her time spent training with Krillin, and battling bad guys on Namek, has had an effect though. She knows firsthand that Earth needs capable defenders. She even lightly trains with him from time to time, seeing as he rather enjoys it. One day, seeing his study room empty, she heads over and looks through a portal into the side of the gravity chamber, expecting to see him punching and kicking around the place, just like his dad would be. Instead, he's just floating there, rotating slowly in his bright red aura. A couple of books float lazily in front of him, past which she sees the counter on the wall. 50? Geez, he's been holding back on her. He scribbles something in a notebook, then looks over and waves at her, smiling broadly. She goes about the rest of her day with a smile of her own. He's still studying. While in the other world, stuck on that tiny little planet, Tien, Chaozu, and Kami have formed a fairly solid friendship as well. They are often found atop Kami's lookout, sometimes training, but mostly meditating, or just hanging out with their friend. They often visit Krillin at Kami House, as well as Gohan and Chi-Chi at Mount Paozu for some more rigorous gravity training. They all marvel at Gohan's advancement in ki control. While he's not forcing his martial arts training, his ki feels slightly different every time they visit. He can casually walk in on them training at 20 Gs like it's nothing. Chi-Chi also finds that she really enjoys these infrequent training sessions with Krillin. The fact that the others all help out around the house, well, that makes this arrangement all the better. Yamcha, however, spends most of his downtime around Bulma at Capsule Corp. He visits far less frequently with his newfound and massive success at the more normal human sport of baseball. Just over a year after everyone is revived, the Z-Fighters sense 2 large energies heading towards Earth. Krillin and Chi-Chi are terrified as they recognize these energies as being similar to Frieza's. The Z-Fighters gather in the wastelands to await for the ship to arrive. After it settles to the ground, the massive King Cole steps out. He is followed by a rather bored-looking, but somewhat oversized Frieza. Hundreds of Frieza, or Cold Force soldiers, pour out behind them. Seeing no other options, the Z-Fighters proceed to demolish the Cold Force soldiers without much struggle. At his father's beckoning, the taller, Frieza-looking man sighs and steps forward. He strikes at a passing Gohan, who catches his hand. Cooler smiles happily as Chi-Chi and Krillin land behind the boy. He wasn't expecting a challenge. however brief it may end up being. Wait, Cooler? But he's not canon. Well, I mean, first of all, none of this is canon. And secondly, I think King Cold would want some sort of backup to deal with whatever vile creatures managed to kill his favorite son. Besides, if Cooler is about to inherit Frieza's empire, he needs to earn it. Tien, Chaozu, and a noticeably slacked-off Yamcha face off against King Cold. While Chi-Chi and Yamcha are keeping to the periphery a bit, the two groups do seem fairly matched. Cooler and Cold, however, are a bit busy wondering what the heck Frieza's problem was. Killed by these pathetic, what do they call themselves? Humans? You will of course recall that without Vegeta being alive, there was no exposition to connect the dots. Frieza never learned that Goku was in fact a Saiyan, and his scouter was long gone by the time Piccolo actually killed him. Neither of them take any notice of Gohan's tail, tucked carefully around his waist. Whoa, first Cooler and now a tail? He doesn't have a goddamn tail. Well, Vegeta didn't actually cut it off, did he? He vaporized the boy, tail and all. And even if Gohan had lost his tail, they have a nasty habit of growing back. This Gohan has met King Kai, so knows what the deal is. He's also heard about the Blitzwaves things from the moon, so being aware of its potential, he has made the choice not to have it removed. At least not yet. High school might change things on that front. Anywho, as Cooler and Cold start to bore with these silly martial artists, the fight starts to shift against the Z-Fighters. From his lookout, Kami sees that things are going south, so calls out telepathically to Piccolo. Moments later, both Piccolo and Goku appear amid the chaos. Piccolo joins the fight against King Cold, while Goku joins Gohan, Krillin, and Chi-Chi against Cooler. Eventually going Super Saiyan, and some sort of weird Kaioken analog, the two newcomers end things with a combined Makanko Sapo and Kamehameha that obliterates King Cold. The combined beam then twists and turns, chasing a hastily fleeing Cooler. With the return of Piccolo and Goku, the Z-Fighters continue to train lightly. Piccolo and Goku are amazed to see Gohan's grasp of ki in general. The boy has taken Kaioken and just run with it. The Yardratians were also very interested in Piccolo's use of the Kaioken. In exchange for teaching them what he knew of it, they had shown Piccolo how to make much better use of it too. Gohan, of course, asks how they got back so quickly, and after hearing about and seeing instant transmission, he asks Piccolo to teach it to them. Tien actually manages it, while Gohan struggles with it a bit. Piccolo also shares with Gohan what he has learned about Kaioken while on Yardrat. Gohan had, on his own, already tapped into some of those alterations, so, it fit quite well. With that, we bring Part 2 to a close. And you're right, there was no future Trunks. This whole What If takes place in that alternate timeline. So what fate awaits the Z-Fighters when the androids appear? Will their newfound power be enough to defeat the evil duo? Things are not looking too good for Son Goku, though. Find out next time on Dragonball, The Altered Future. What if Vegeta killed Gohan?